This movie gave me AIDS. The movie opens up with a space meatball and villain lady digging for some ancient drip, but she finds a rock and gives it a smack with her cripple stick and finds the bracelet of plot development inside, but she's big mad because there's supposed to be two of them. Cut to Ms. Muslim making some self-insert fanfiction about working with Captain Matriarchy, and according to her bio, she likes comics, writing fanfiction, dogs, Pakistani beef stew, and something called smushies, which I'm going to assume is code for stomping turds down the shower drain. Anyway, this entire section is cringe, so we're going to skip forward. Suddenly, the plot bracelet starts to glow and Miss Muslim sneezes out of existence. Hooray, movie over. Let's all go home. Never mind, we're actually now in space where Captain Kankersaur is reliving her first movie. And to save some time, I'll summarize for you. She got the power of explosions from a rocket, lost her memory, abandoned Earth, and helped random aliens she had no real reason to trust for 30 years. And never once thought of doing anything to come back and, stop any of the villains we've seen throughout all the other movies. So she wakes up and puts on her fucking Crayola jizz crocs. Then her and Sammy Jack are talking about weird space shenaniganery. Cut to Soul Train, fixing a satellite while on a spacewalk. She goes to examine the shenaniganery while Captain Menopause checks out the dig site from earlier. All this happens at the same time as Kamala Harris did her sneeze, and they all get teleported to where one of the others were, and surprisingly, no one dies. Weave-tastic Wanda doesn't die while outside a spacesuit on a random planet. Miss Marvel doesn't die from being thrown through space at super speeds. And Carol doesn't die violently flying through and shattering a door. So Captain Melville looks around and finds out she's in some random kid's room and is obviously freaked out about the mid-superhero worship plastered all over the walls and tries to leave but teleports back to the plot planet and skedaddles thinking the Kree did something to her and are trying to kill the local refugees or some shit. And Black Guy number 1 is all like, what the fuck is you doing? This is just a happy kiss for the cameras tool. You don't need to bust in and have a woman moment. But she's all like, nah, I'm gonna do it anyways. Give some more cringe nonsense. The resident Bint is all like, alright homies, here's the sitch. I know we've been trying to exterminate you and shit, but my boss died and somehow that led to our air being poisoned, our water just piecing out, and the sun dying of cringe. So you gotta come back and be our slaves or we gonna war crime you up in here. Now we're back with Captain Traitor on the most villain ship ever, and since stealth was optional for this mission, she got caught right away and starts fighting henchmen and activates the shenanigans again. And switches with Kamala Crybaby, who then switches with Monica, who also switches with Captain Karen. It is now on a space elevator with Sam Jackson, who is as confused as the rest of the audience, and he's like, my how did you get here and what is going on? And she's all like, did some plot bullshit and made something shiny in space and I touched it and now I'm here. And he's like, why the fuck would you just touch some random shiny thing you just found out in space? Are you retarded? So she's like, I can't even with you right now. You're being a total Gemini and polluting my aura with your negativity. She gets pulled back into the fight at the house where she teleported from, and it feels like I'm watching a Power Rangers episode. This fight scene is super dookie butt shit. So we're gonna skip forward. The cast finally gets together and start working. And we get more teleporting dumbassery. The characters know that when they use their powers at the same time, they teleport, but they keep doing it, putting each other in danger. And they never try to stop. This shit is so stupid, and most of the time it's Captain Cuntass's fault. She keeps flying away, and then they teleport with someone else, and it keeps putting them in fucking danger. And every time it happens, you're just sitting there bitch, fucking stop. Or hoping that the other characters realize, hey, if I stop trying to use my powers, maybe this shit will stop happening. But no, they're very keen on making things harder for themselves. Anyway, stupid shit happens and Monica literally just has to use some Black Girl Magic. This scene makes everyone look so incompetent, so we're gonna skip it. Okay, so now Kamala and Monica are both on the villain ship because they both got teleported instead of just one of them, because reasons, I guess. They get captured and the villains explain their plan in front of them. As the guards don't notice Kamala trying to hide her bracelet that looks just like the one their boss had, it's because they're retarded, I guess. Then Captain Clownass just shows up because she can just cross light years basically instantly, which makes me ask, why is she so slow in all the teleporting scenes when she's flying away, if she can move this fast? Not important, I guess. We find out the bracelet can absorb blast and they fight Villain Lady, but she just decides to jump off the ship and falls to the ground and is fine. Then she opens up a space hole and the air gets sucked from the planet they're on and goes to her home planet. And the suck is so powerful that it pulls ships off course and makes a tornado, but doesn't pull any people into it. Okay. Villain Lady pieces out, then they do some action stuff. They try to evacuate some people, but can't save everyone, which makes Miss Marvel sad, but Captain Marvel is all like, we need to save what we can.
Acting.
And she is just no longer sad or even concerned about the probably few hundred people they are leaving behind. They only end up taking like 12 people, and they just give up on the rest despite having plenty of extra space in their ship. But because some rocks start falling, they completely give up, which is weird because there's tons of space between the falling rocks. It's not like this huge rock slide that comes down and is like washing away everyone. It's like two moderately sized rock bridges that end up just falling down. Monica and Carol could just fly over and grab people and then fly them back. Or they could just use their powers at the same time to activate the teleport to speed it up by like having one person grab it, teleport back and forth, and then, do that one person at a time. Or Kamala could just make a long and wide roof that people could run under into the ship. Sure, the atmosphere is being sucked away, but it's a whole ass-on-my-face planet's worth of air, and the portal is pretty small, so it'll take a while for all of it to be gone, and the cyclone can just be blasted away by Carol. Or it will just get sucked into the space hole. This entire scene is just monumentally stupid because it just boils down to Karen not wanting to do her fucking job as a hero. Whatever, let's move on. So they dip and unload the people they saved onto Valkyrie, who just takes them away by using the Bifrost. Why didn't Carol just call Valkyrie and have her open the Bifrost so everyone could leave through it on the planet? Because that would make sense and be responsible. But as we've been shown, every time Carol has been put in a part of a plot, she is incapable of being responsible or doing anything other than the bare minimum required to make herself look good, because she only cares about looking like a hero, not actually being one. Cut to Hala, everyone is wearing a mask and waiting for the air to fill their planet and listening to the villain tell them everything they already know. That everything went to shit because of Captain Marvel's first movie, and now their planet is kaput for some reason. Despite supposedly being an empire, they all just decide not to move to a different planet in a different star system because reasons. Also, the villain lady showed up and basically did nothing, and Carol blew up with their AI waifu. So why anybody trust her to do anything now is beyond me.
Before the Annihilator, I was there.
But no one cares about this character's backstory, so we're going to cut back to Gals in Carol's ship doing some maintenance, and Monica comes to talk to her, and Carol's like, "Oh my god, you have powers now? That's so cool. Your dead mom would be super proud of you." And Monica just doesn't care and is all like, "Why the fuck does it take you so long to show up for anything? What have you been doing for 30 years? And Carol says, "Because I had to be responsible, and it was really hard, and I, don't actually have a reason, but please don't be mad at me." They stop almost making Carol admit that she's been a shitty person for the last 30 years, and now, over 40 minutes into the movie, the characters have just now figured out what's going on and try to form a plan, while also bickering and carving out some extra time for Kamala to fangirl. I'm just going to summarize it here, so we can skip this scene, because it's basically just a training montage in the end, but only for learning how to use the teleport reliably. Okay, so the plot bracelet was used to make all the jump points that we see used to travel between systems, and somehow Villain Lady's hammer is overloading the bracelet, which is how she makes the space hole to suck out the air, and it's like breaking the jump points, and they need to find out where the Villain Lady is going next. Kamala says she saw a map when she was on the Villain Lady's ship, but doesn't know what systems they were. So Carol wants to use the Dream Machine that she used to relive her original movie, so that she can go back and look into Kamala's memories and get the plot details. Because I guess the 30 years of experience wasn't enough time for Carol to learn to pay attention to the fucking map being displayed on their villain ship. So they all get hooked up to the Dream Machine, look at the map, reestablish that Monica's mom is in fact dead, and find out Villain Lady is trying to basically remake her own planet by stealing resources from other planets, and she's going to find some water next. And Carol knows which planet she's going to, and they decide that's where they'll go. But Kamala's mom is all like,
Hello, you are not going on any space adventure.
And the movie ends, but not really. So the next few scenes are just Nick Fury telling Kamala's family about what's happening, and it's just to keep track of them for the plot, which is kind of weird because they bring them up to the satellite Fury is working on instead of moving them to a safe house or just a normal government building on Earth. After all that, they take off to the ocean planet they saw on the map. When they land and we find out everyone on this planet sings to talk to each other, it's really stupid and doesn't really have any plot significance, so we're gonna ignore it. Like, every time they sing and whatnot, it's super fucking cringe and annoying. So, that, and for copyright reasons, and I'm not going to play it at all. But you can go look for it if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it, though. Also, Carol is married to the prince, and everyone loves her for some reason. All they tell us is that Carol is the princess, but nothing else. She's famous, and everyone loves her on this planet just because she is the princess. She didn't save the world by like defeating Galactus or some shit. She just got married and, then pieced out, which, as we all know, means she has a very deep significance to the individual culture here. And Tully isn't just basically a deadbeat. Remember, this is the kind of shit she was doing instead of defending Earth from Loki's invasion, Ultron, Thanos, and everything else that happens in the movies. Do the writers not realize they just keep making her look worse as they tell us this shit? Whatever, they sung and danced their way through the city, and it's fucking gay, so we're gonna skip forward again. Now they're at a party and some guy does a tire drop while nutting they arrive, and I hope you enjoyed the ride so far, because we are at our final stop of Twink Central Station! Don't get too attached to him, because in like 10 minutes, he will not even be relevant to the plot, like, remotely whatsoever. They literally just use him as a way to get new costumes. Okay, now we're back with Nick and his group of useless shit kickers, and they're trying to ID some random tumor they found in the walls, and you'll never guess what it is. If you guess it's some sort of extra-dimensional infection that is a side effect of all the portal shit going around, then congratulations. Not only was that a stupid guess, but it's actually still better than they actually are. They are in fact actually egg hairballs that the alien cat has been laying around the station. This entire plot point is so ridiculously stupid when it comes around that I'm going to just explain it here to skip the reveal. Okay, so yeah, there's like 30 of these things, and they hatch into alien cats, and later on the station needs to be evacuated because of some space portal bullshit. But most of the escape pods break, and so does the space elevator, so they don't have enough space to save the crew. And they just decide to let the alien cats eat the crew, because no one who gets eaten by these cats dies, because they'll just end up getting barfed up later. Once the cats have eaten all the crew, they just put them all into the last few escape pods they have so that they can be carried back to the fucking Earth and then barfed out once they land. Let's get back to the slightly less shit plotline. So the cast gets their super suits, then the villains show up and just land with several armed soldiers. And the prince, for some reason, just lets them. He doesn't tell his military to shoot down the ships as they try to land. He doesn't try to open communication, and neither does the villain lady, because I guess national security and diplomacy don't matter anymore. She's like, shut up, I'm in charge now, but he pulls out a... And Monica jumps in to intercept her space hammer blast, but for some reason no one saw her approaching despite like 10 people looking in the direction she came from. They fight, Captain Marvel shows up trying to help, but she ends up doing stupid teleport shit by accident because they only trained with it for like an hour and get tossed like yesterday's trash. Then like a minute and a half later, after the fighting has started, Kamala and all the minions realize they're fighting each other and finally get around to trying to hit each other. The villain lady walks off and goes to do villain shit, and Monica and Carol find out where she's going and do some more fighting. And for your own sake, I suggest not paying attention to anyone in this fight scene, because everyone here is either fighting nothing or fighting as if they're in a fucking Power Rangers episode. There's no weight to anything they do. Nothing ever seems to link properly. No one seems to have a consistent target. It's just awful all over. During this entire fight scene, Monica and Carol just keep letting the villain lady absorb their energy blast to power up, and they keep watching her do it by blocking with the plot bracelet, but never just trying normal punches and kicks, so the villain lady just keeps shooting their shit back at them. Once again, she thoroughly booyahs them, and then uses the bracelets to open up a new portal, and it's above the water she's trying to steal, instead of, underneath it, so everything just flows into it, because, this movie's bad. After which, the cast just decides to leave. They don't try to save anyone, they don't try to fight the villain again. They just leave and eventually crash on some random planet after jumping through a couple of portals. And we actually get a character moment finally.
We left Aladdin to fend for themselves.
Darvan was gonna get my bangle, so I made a tough call like you did on Friday.
Don't try to be like me. I messed this whole thing up.
If we weren't entangled, if we weren't here, then you could have beat Darben, and I'm sorry.
No, you don't understand. The Kree have been ruled by an AI for a millennia that led them into a war. I thought the only way to stop it was to destroy it, but I just made it worse.
But then we get back to the plot. First, the whole retarded cats part from earlier happens, and the villain lady is trying to steal the sun's energy to fix her dying star. It totally won't open up the possibility of the gravity of both stars pulling on each other and just crashing into each other. And once again, it's totally not like there are basically infinite other stars in the galaxy they could go to and try to find a habitable planet on. None of this matters. The writers didn't care about logic before this. They certainly don't now. So they fight her again, and they get their asses kicked once again until the lady finally gets hit with something and gets impaled on some broken glass. And Miss Marvel, who seems to have forgotten that she has the plot device that the villain wants on her arm, decides to just go and try to help her. And to no one's surprise, villain lady attacks and starts torturing her with lightning from her fucking hammer. Then she's all like, alright, I'm going to take the plot device now, and if you try to stop me, I'm going to kill your little girlfriend here. And, they just let her. During this time, no one ever tries to, blast away at the villain lady. Nobody tries to, fly into her, punch the shit out of her. They just let it happen there. And, frankly, based on how she's been fighting this entire movie, there's a good chance that if you just gave her a good punch in the chest, that she would probably drop her weapon and wouldn't be able to do anything for a while. But no, that would require logic and tactical thinking on anyone's part, and no one in this movie is going to have any of that. So she takes the bracelet, lets Miss Marvel go, and tries to use it to open another portal or something, but Captain Marvel finally decides to fly into her and push her into space. And they do a little bit of fighting, and Villain Lady slams her bracelets together like she's fucking Wonder Woman, and dies because she got overloaded on all the power or something, and a portal to a different fucking dimension opens instead, and they don't teleport when they use their powers anymore. They don't really explain why, it just doesn't happen now, because I guess one person has the fucking bracelets. Once they regroup with both bracelets, Monica says that if Kamala and Carol can generate the same amount of energy as Villain Lady did, Monica can absorb it and release it to close the portal to the other dimension, but she has to do it on the other side. Why does she think this will work? No idea. But it does, and Monica gets trapped on the other side. A big sad boo-hoo, no one actually fucking cares. Then Kamala does the thing Nick Fury did to Tony at the end of Iron Man to start the MCU, but she goes to see Girl Hawkeye.
Put a ticket in and make her name it gay!
Because, there's a Girl Hawkeye. In case you didn't watch the Hawkeye show, which, let's be honest here, no one fucking watched the Hawkeye show. And thank the good Lord above, the movie fucking ends. Please don't spend your money on this.
Oh man, this guy's so handsome and cool. I want to subscribe.